Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Spot Connection with another installment of Building the Team. So, first off, considering the last team we built, teams I should say, the ones that basically forcing the use of a colossal. Yeah, that's been postponed. That game did get mentioned a practice game out with the X-Men team, and it did okay. It could have done better, but hey, dice don't always work for you. Also, I probably picked the absolute worst map for a colossal, let alone two. So, this current build, with Halloween coming up, it's one of two builds that will be inspired by the holiday. 700 points. All figures must have either the monster or mystical keyword. So, let's get started. First off, we've got ourselves a Marvel team. It's a Midnight Suns theme to be exact. Kicking it off with Frank Drake. Drake here is a member of the Night Stalkers, a small team organized in part by the vampire hero Blade to, well, go after things that go bump in the night, or rather to bump back, as another hunter of the supernatural might put it. So Frank comes in at 55 points. He's got the Detective and Midnight Suns keywords. He opens up with, actually all he's got on speed is Stealth. On attack, he opens up with Penetrating Psychic Blast, which then gives way to Blaze Claw's Fangs. On defense, he's got some willpower, which he does start off with, so at least there's that. And finally, on damage, he opens up with the special power Vampire Hunter. Frank Drake can use that wit. Once per turn, when he uses a targeted character with the monster or mystical keyword, he may use it again, targeting the same character. Not too shabby there. Moving on, we've got Morbius, the living vampire. Morbius here comes in at 60 points. Has the Spider-Man ally team ability, making him a wild card, which is actually kind of sad because the only other team ability on this team is Mystics, and that's no longer copyable. So Morbius also has the Legion of Monsters, Midnight Suns, Monster and Scientist keywords, as well as a trait Vampiric Hunger. Morbius starts the game on click number 3. Steel Energy. When he uses it, he may heal past his starting line. Okay. Looking at his dial, starting from click 3, we've got Charge for a couple clicks, followed by a few clicks of Stealth. Now, that goes back to, with the Steel Energy, he ends up picking up the special speed power Transvection, which gives him charge sized up in Stealth. On attack, he opens up with Super Strength. He actually has no attack powers on clicks 1 and 2. And with after Super Strength, he gets Blaze Claw's Fangs for a few clicks. On defense, he starts off with Willpower, which gives way to Combat Reflexes. On his first couple of clicks, he's actually rocking Toughness as well. Well, just Toughness. And finally, on damage, we open up with Outwit for a couple clicks. Then, when he heals up to 1 and 2, he got Shape Change. All in all, not too shabby for 60 points. The stat drop on the last couple clicks is kind of a downside, but at the same time, if you can hit and deal damage, he can heal up. So he's going to, potentially speaking, he's going to be around for a while. Next up, we've got Blade. I seriously need to get a new version of him that doesn't have a broken off sword. Blade comes in at 85 points. He's got the Midnight Suns, Martial Artist, Monster, and Soldier keywords. He's got a trait, Supernatural Tracking. At the beginning of the game, choose an opposing character. That character can't automatically break away from Blade, and when it does roll to break away, only succeeds on a roll of 6. That's, that can be very useful. Looking at the dial, we open up with Charge on speed, which gives way to Stealth. On attack, we open up with the special power, Blade isn't just a name. Blade can use Blade's Claw's Fangs. When he does, increase damage dealt by 1 for each of the following the target possesses or can use. Monster keyword, mystical keyword, Steel Energy. So, potentially speaking, he can do 9 damage in a single attack. Whew, that is something. That thing, the special power then gives way to just regular Blade's Claw's Fangs. On defense, first off, he is indomitable, always a good thing. He's got toughness, which then gives way to combat reflexes, and then gives way to regeneration. And on damage, he starts off with nothing, but that eventually gives way to exploit weakness. And I actually kind of wonder if that exploit weakness lines up with any of his special power at any point. And it does. So he could potentially dish out not just 9 damage, but 9 penetrating damage. Ooh. Mean. I love it. Alrighty, next up we've got Hannibal King. Hannibal King was also a member of the Night Stalkers alongside Blade and Drake. Comes in at 107 points. He's got the Detective, Midnight Suns, and Monster keywords. Looking at the dial, we open up with a special power, Form of Mist, Form of Wolf. Hannibal King can use Running Shot and Stealth. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose to increase Hannibal King's attack or defense by 1 or 2. If you do, then decrease the other combat value by the same amount until your next turn. Okay, I mean... And to be perfectly fair, his opening defense is not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Anyway, that gives way to Charge. On attack, we open up with Super Strength, which I'm okay. Yeah, he can throw an object, but yeah, that gives way to Blade's Claw's Fangs, which then gives way to Steel Energy. He's indomitable on defense. He is indomitable, but he starts off with Toughness. Then he gives way to Super Senses, and then Regeneration. And finally, on damage, we open up with Outwit, which gives way eventually to Exploit Weakness. Okay. Not too bad. Not great, mind you, but not too bad. Next up, we got Damien Hellstrom. Also known as the Son of Satan. Hellstrom here comes in at 113 points. He's got the Mystics team ability. He also has the Defenders, Hellfire Club, Legion of Monsters, Midnight Suns, Detective, Mystical, and Ruler keywords, as well as the trait Exorcist Supreme. Damien Hellstrom and adjacent friendly characters can't be the target of mind control. Okay. That can be very useful. Looking at the dial, we open up with phasing on speed, which gives way to stealth. On attack, we open up with penetrating psychic blast, which then gives way to Blade's Claw's Fangs. On defense, we open up with vulnerability, which then gives way to toughness. And on damage, we open up with shape change, which then gives way to outwit. Alright, next up, we've got Ghost Rider. Because, yeah, well, can't really have a Midnight Suns without a Ghost Rider, right? So, Ghost Rider here comes in at 120 points. He's got the Marble Knights, Midnight Suns, and Mystical keywords. He also has a trait, Penance Stare. Whenever a friendly character of 25 points or more is KO'd by an opponent, place a Penance token on this card. When Ghost Rider makes a close combat attack, you may replace his damage value with the number of penance tokens on this card and lock it. If you do, damage is penetrating. Okay. There can definitely be a use for that, namely if it's one of those things where it helps to build up the number of penance tokens. Basically, if the number of penance tokens is greater than his damage value. Alright, looking at the dial, we open up with the special speed power, Hellfire Cycle. Ghost Rider can use hypersonic speed and improved movement, ignores elevated terrain and hindering terrain. Very useful. Very, very useful. This gives way to charge, and then gives way to sidestep. Sadly, nothing on attack. Pardon me. Which is kind of sad. I would hope for maybe, I don't know, some Quake or something. But, oh well. Defense, we've got Indomitable. Which, of course, means built-in willpower. We got Impervious, which then gives way to Invulnerability, which then gives way to Regeneration. As for damage, starts off with nothing, but then clicks into Close Combat Expert. Alright. And finally, we've got Doctor Strange. So the Doc here comes in at 150 points. He's got the Mystics team ability, as well as the Avengers, Defenders, Illuminati, Midnight Suns, and Mystical keywords. He has two traits. First off is Sorcerer Supreme, which is only in effect when he's played at 150 points. He can use willpower. Next up we have Protective Auras. Give Doctor Strange a free action and choose one of the following: Shape Change, Toughness, or Defense +1. Doctor Strange can use the chosen effect until he uses this ability again. When friendly characters are adjacent to Doctor Strange, they can use the chosen effect. Okay, alright. Not gonna lie, probably gonna be going a lot with Defense +1. There are some very squishy defense values on this team after all. Alright, looking at the dial, we open up with Phasing Teleport, which gives way to Running Shot. On attack, we open up with Precision Strike, which gives way to Penetrating Psychic Blast, which then gives way to Poison. On defense, we open up with the special power Orb of Agamotto. Doctor Strange can use power ability control once on your turn, and once during each attack when it isn't your turn. Oh, I love that. Next on defense, we've got Energy Shield Deflection. Moving on to damage, we've got Perplex, followed by Outwit. And finally, the special power, Book of the Vishanti. Give Doctor Strange a power action to choose a friendly character within 3 squares in line of fire. Roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled and heal the chosen character a number of clicks equal to half the result. You may activate this effect with a double power action to heal all friendly characters within 3 squares instead. Okay. I especially like that neither is once per game. So if Doctor Strange is clear, you can target everyone within 3 squares. Does that be 3 squares in line of fire? Okay. Okay, it's either a single character within 3 in line of fire or double power action for all within 3. Okay. Okay, yeah, that can be useful. But he does click into that after a while, so yeah. Anyways, moving on, we've got ourselves a DC team, Justice League Dark. To be perfectly honest, Midnight Suns and Justice League Dark are my go-to Halloween teams. Because, I mean, they're the supernatural teams, you know? Anyway, so we start off with Timothy Hunter. Timothy here comes in at 58 points. He's got the Justice League Dark and Mystical keywords, as well as the trait Expelled Unnatural Magic. Tim Hunter and Tim, not Timothy. Tim Hunter and adjacent friendly characters with the Justice League Dark keyword can't be the target of opposing characters' probability control. That right there is, oh, I love it. I love that. Looking at the dial, we open up a phasing teleport that eventually gives way to running shot. On attack, we open up with nothing, but on the last dial, same click as running shot, I might add. We got the special attack power, destined to be the world's greatest magician. Tim Hunter can use inertial deflection, probability control, pulse wave, super senses, and willpower, which is great because you can just you can potentially use that last click quite a bit otherwise. On attack, or on defense, we open up with a special power, everyone's annoyingly concerned for my welfare. Before any attack roll, Tim Hunter may replace his defense value with the unmodified defense value of any adjacent friendly character with a mystical keyword. Okay. That is kind of nice because he does have a kind of low one. But not that low compared to everyone else, so yeah. That gives way to Impervious on his last click. Then on damage, we open up with the special power Mentored by the Trenchcoat Brigade. Give Tim Hunter a free action and choose an adjacent friendly character with the mystical keyword and one or more action tokens. Tim Hunter can use the powers possessed by the chosen character until the beginning of your next turn. That can be very useful, especially considering some of the various powers that it entails. And then on this last click, we've got Perplex as well on damage. Moving on to Mr. John Constantine. Constantine here comes in at 90 points. He's got the Mystics team ability, as well as the Justice League Dark and Mystical keywords. Also has a trait. We operate from the shadows, alright? Constantine can use stealth. Adjacent friendly characters with the Justice League Dark keyword can use stealth. Okay. Let me see here. Then we open up with a special speed power, Ultimate Con Man. Once per turn, choose out Where Perplex, and John Constantine can use that power until your next turn. When he uses the chosen power to target an opposing character, that character can't use the chosen power until your next turn. This power can't be countered. Very nice. That then gives way to Phasing Teleport. On attack, we open up with Telekinesis, which then gives way to Penetrating Psychic Blast. On defense, we open up with Inertial Deflection. And on damage, we open up with the special power, I Make My Own Luck. John Constantine can use Probability Control, but can use it twice each turn. Okay. It's, in some ways, a slightly watered down version of Doctor Strange's, but at the same time, you can use it twice on your turn as well. So, you know, about, I'd probably say the two are close to as good. And that then gives way to Exploit Weakness. Alright, next up we've got Frankenstein. Frankenstein here comes in at 93 points. He's got the Creature Commandos, Justice League Dark, 7 Soldiers, Monster, Pass, and Soldier keywords. We open up with Charge on Speed, which then gives us the special power Necronauts. When Frankenstein or a friendly character KO an opposing character with a point value of 50 or more points with an attack, all friendly characters with the Justice League Dark keyword can be given a move action as a free action this turn. Not too shabby. That then gives way to Lurch. Then on attack, we open up with a special attack power, Archangel's Sword. Frankenstein can use Bladesclaw's Fangs. When he does, the result is a 4, 5, or 6. Hit characters can't be healed this game, even if this power is lost. Oh, That could be mean. That could be mean. But it's gonna be a 4, 5, or 6. So on defense, he's indomitable. Opens up with toughness, which gives way to combat reflexes, which then gives way to regeneration. On damage, we open up with nothing, but that gives way to outwit and then close combat expert. Next up, we've got Jason Blood. Jason Blood here comes in at 100 points. He's got the Mystics team ability as well as the Gotham City, Justice League Dark, Shadow Pact, and Mystical keywords. We got a trait, Gone, Gone the Form of Man, Rise the Demon Etrigan. You can give, enabling you to give Blood a free action if he began your turn on the map. He is then replaced with Etrigan from the same set and on the same click number. Looking at the dial, we open with Stealth, which then gives way to Sidestep. On attack, we open up with Penetrating Psychic Blast, which gives way to Precision Strike, which then gives way to Smoke Cloud. On defense, we open up with a special power, Sorceress Wards. Jason Blood can use Super Senses. Adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with him can use Super Senses, but only succeed on a roll of 6. Okay? That gives way to Inertial Deflection. Then on damage, we open up with a special power, Unravel Your Simple Magics. Jason Blood can use Outwit and probability control. Adjacent friendly characters can't be targeted by opposing characters' probability control. So we got 2 that block the use of prob. But they do require you to be adjacent, so that thing gives way to just regular probability control and then regular outwit. Alright, next up we've got, well, Etrigan. Like Jason Blood, Etrigan also comes in at 100 points and has the Mystics team ability. He's also got the Justice League Dark, Shadow Pact, and Mystical keywords. As well as a trait, Gone, Gone, O Etrigan, Rise Again, the Form of Man, which it's basically the same as Jason Blood's trait. The idea being that if you have one in your sideline and one in play, if Etrigan's in play, you can swap him out for Jason Blood, or vice versa. But since they're both in use, well, admittedly, yes, the idea to run an extra one of each on the sideline does come to mind, but I'd rather just stick with, running this normally. Anyway, looking at the dial, we open up with some running shot, which gives way to stealth. Which then gives way to the special speed power, Adept at Rhymes and Wording Games. Etrigan can use Plasticity and Sidestep. While he's adjacent to an opposing character, he can be attacked by non-adjacent opposing characters. Okay. Then on attack, we open up with a special power, Have a Taste of Burning Flames. Etrigan can use Energy Explosion. When he makes an attack and hits, after actions resolve, he can use Smoke Cloud as a free action, but must place at least one injuring marker adjacent to a hit character. Okay. That then gives way to Blade's Claw's Fangs. On defense, we open with Toughness, which then gives way to Combat Reflexes. And finally, on damage, we open up with Perplex, which is all he's rocking there. Next up, we've got Zatanna. So Zatanna here comes in at 120 points. She's got the JLA and Mystics team abilities, as well as the Justice League Dark, Shadow Pact, Celebrity, and Mystical keywords. And she has a trait, Anonym. When you place your opponent at the start of the game, you may turn Zatanna to click 6. If you do, this game turn her dial counterclockwise when she is damaged and clockwise when she is healed, and she can't be healed past click 6. This trait can't be ignored. Looking at the dial, though, we start off, this is going from 1 to 6, not 6 to 1. We start off with running shot, which gives way to a sidestep. On attack, we've got this, we open up with special power Singing Magics. This time can use Penetrating Psychic Blast and Precision Strike. That thing gives way to Pulse Wave, which then gives way to Telekinesis. Then on defense, we open up with Inertial Deflection, then Toughness, then Defend. On damage, we open up with Outwit, which then gives way to Help Them. The special power Help Them. Use the talent on free action and choose one of the following to last until your next turn. Barrier and Perplex, or Enhancement and Probability Control. Okay. Finally, we wrap up the dial with Support. Okay. Finally, for the Justice League Dark, we've got Blue Devil. Alrighty, so Blue Devil here comes in at 135 points. You get the Mystic team ability, as well as the Justice League Dark, Shadow Pact, Monster, and Mystical keywords, and 2 traits. First off, we've got Demon Hunter. Adjacent friendly characters and friendly characters with the Justice League Dark keyword ignore the Mystic's team ability. Next up, we've got Supernatural Exorcism. When Blue Devil damages a character and a special power is revealed that stops that dial from turning, after action resolve, deal that character 2 unavoidable damage. Oh, I love people that basically give the finger to stop clicks. Looking at the dial, we open up with Running Shot on speed, which then gives you a Leap Climb. On attack, we open up with the special power, Hellfire. Blue Devil can use Energy Explosion and Penetrating Psychic Blast. Okay, that then gives way to Super Strength. On defense, we open up with Invulnerability, which then gives way to Toughness, which then gives way to Inertial Deflection. And finally, on damage, we start off with nothing, but he clicks into Probability Control. That is the Justice League Dark Squad. Finally, we got one more team. It's an Avengers team, actually. So, looking at the lineup, we've got, first and foremost, Tigra, who, yes, is missing her arms. Tigra comes in at 60 points, has the Avengers team ability, as well as the Avengers, Animal, and Mystical keywords. She also has improved movement, ignores elevated terrain and hindering terrain. She opens up with the special power Feline Agility on speed, Tiger, which allows her to use Charge and Sidestep. That then gives way to Flurry. Then we've got, I think she actually has a full dial of blades. Yeah. Got a full dial of Blades, Claws, Fangs. On attack. On defense, we open up with Super Senses, which gives way to Combat Reflexes. And then on damage, we open up with nothing, but she eventually does click into Battle Fury. Okay. Next up, we've got our old buddy Moon Knight. Moon Knight comes in at 75 points. He's got the Avengers, Heroes for Hire, Marvel Knights, Martial Artists, Mystical, and Soldier keywords, as well as improved movement, ignores elevated terrain and hindering terrain. He's got the trait Cycles of the Moon. If there is not a Moon token on his card at the beginning of the turn, add one. If there is, remove it. When he has a Moon token, his combat values are increased by 1, and he can use Willpower. On attack speed, he opens up with the special power Night Hunter, which grants him Charge, Running Shot, and Stealth. That thing gives way to Sidestep. On attack, we open up with nothing, but that gives way to Precision Strike, which then gives way to Blades, Claws, Fangs. On defense, he opens up with Toughness, which gives way to Combat Reflexes, which then gives way to Regeneration. On damage, we open up with Exploit Weakness, which then eventually gives way to Close Combat Expert. As often as I use them, not a figure we really need to focus on too terribly much. Next up, we've got Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman here comes in at 77 points. She's got the Avengers, Freedom Force, Omega Flight, Spider-Man Family, and Mystical keywords. She opens up with Charge on speed, which then gives her a leap climb, which then gives her a running shot. On attack, she opens up with Super Strength, which then gives her to Incapacitate. On defense, she opens up with the special power Heightened Senses and Psy-webbing. Spider-Woman can use Barrier and Super Senses. When Spider-Woman uses Super Senses, she succeeds on a 4, 5, or 6, as opposed to just 5 or 6. Not too shabby. That thing gives way to regular inertial deflection. On damage, she starts off with nothing, but then picks up Ranged Combat Expert, and then she picks up a special power, the Wild Inheritance of Madam Web. Spider-Woman can use the Mystic's Team ability. At the beginning of your turn, you may roll a d6, and Spider-Woman can use the following power until you roll again. 1 or 2, Outwit. 3 or 4, Perplex. 5 or 6, Probability Control. Next up, we've got Iron Fist. Iron Fist here comes in at 100 points. He's got the Spider-Man Ally Team ability, which makes him a wild card. He also has the Avengers, Heroes for Hire, Unlun, Martial Artist, and Mystical keywords. And we open up with the trait, Reading My Opponent Like a Book. When Iron Fist is targeted with a close combat attack, modify his defense value by +1. Okay. But looking at the dial, we open up with a special power, Luke goes through, I go over. Iron Fist can use Leap Climb. When Iron Fist resolves a move action has moved 4 squares or less, he can make a close combat attack as a free action. Okay. It's quasi-charge. The Luke Cage from the same set is the same way. That thing gives way to Flurry. On attack, we open up with Precision Strike. On defense, we open up with Super Senses, which then gives way to Willpower, which then gives way to Regeneration. Finally, on damage, we open up with Close Combat Expert, which then eventually gives way to Exploit Weakness. Next up, we've got Black Knight. Black Knight here comes in at 115 points, has the Avengers team ability, as well as the Avengers, Defenders, Excalibur, Heroes for Hire, Knights of Wundagore, Mystical, Scientist, and Warrior keywords. And we have 2 traits. First off is by Circe's side from one universe to the next. If Black Knight is adjacent to a friendly character named Circe, both characters modify their defense values by +1 unless already modified by this effect. Okay. That's followed up by the trait Blood Curse of the Ebony Blade. Black Knight can use Blade's Claw's Fangs to steal energy. When Black Knight KOs an opposing character, he uses Battle Fury and Willpower for the rest of the game. Okay. Looking at the dial, we open up with some Charge, which then gives way, to Flurry, which then gives way to Sidestep. On attack, we open up with nothing, except for, of course, Traded Blades. That gives way to Precision Strike. On defense, we open up with Invulnerability, which then gives way to Toughness, which then gives way to Regeneration. And on damage, we open up with Exploit Weakness, which makes the Traded Blades very nice. Moving on, we've got Captain Britain. Alright, so Captain Britain here comes in at 113 points. He's got the Mystic's team ability as well as the Avengers, Excalibur, Mystical, and Scientist keywords. And the trait Enhanced Senses. When Captain Britain attacks an opposing character, that character modifies their shape-changing super senses rolls by -1. Too bad he doesn't have Precision Strike. Oh. Anyway, looking at the dial, we open up with Charge, which then gives way to Flurry, which then gives way to Sidestep. On attack, we open up with a special power. With confidence comes power. Captain Britain can use super strength and willpower. Captain Britain's powers cannot be countered by characters of a lower point value. On defense, we open up with Invincible, which then gives way to Invulnerability, which then gives way to Toughness, which then gives way to Regeneration. And finally, on damage, we open up with Leadership. And that's all he's got. Alright, last figure for the team, and for the video, Black Panther. And I'm going to say this is my absolute, hands-down favorite Black Panther figure. At least sculpt-wise. Dial-wise, admittedly, I actually kind of like the uncommon from Black Panther, the Illuminati, just a little bit more, but it's really cool. For a high point Panther, this is clearly the choice. Alright. Black Panther comes in at 140 points as the Avengers team ability, as well as the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Illuminati, Martial Artist, Mystical, Ruler, and Scientist keywords, because at the time this figure was made, they didn't have a Wakanda keyword. He's also got Improved Movement, ignores elevated terrain and hindering terrain, and the trait Cloaking Tech. Black Panther can use Stealth and Toughness. When it isn't your turn, lines of fire to him are blocked if he is adjacent to blocking terrain. Oh, yeah, who cares about being a hindrance? Just get it next to a square of blocking terrain. Like, yeah, that's nice. I'm adjacent to blocking. Bye. So, looking at the dial, we open up with a special speed power, Spring from the Shadows. Black Panther can use Charge. When Black Panther occupies hindering terrain or is adjacent to blocking terrain, he can use Sidestep. Very nice. Spring from the Shadows then gives way to Plasticity. On attack, we open up with Precision Strike, which then gives way to Blade's Claw's Fangs. On defense, he does have Indomitable, so built-in willpower. He opens up with Combat Reflexes, which then gives way to Super Senses. Plus, you got the traded Toughness, so yeah. Next up, on damage, we've got More Than a Head of State, special power which enables Black Panther to use Leadership and Outwit. This then gives way to the regular Outwit, and finally, regular Perplex. Like I said, in all honesty, my favorite Black Panther. There are a few things that the new one does have over him, but I think that I honestly do stand by that being at least being my favorite. There are, like I said, the new one does have a few perks as well, but yeah. Anyway, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.